So if you guys have been following our YouTube channel or my Instagram at the Hacksmith, you'll know that I recently broke my hand.
Oh, you alright? You alright?
It hurts. I'm notorious for getting injured in videos. Oh, I just walked back in place. 3, 2, 1.
Took off the safety glasses.
Brutality.
Ironically, this was actually a regular accident that could have even happened to you. You see, at Hacksmith Industries, we do take safety pretty seriously. And you might be surprised to know, this is actually the first time I've had to go to the hospital. Let me show you what happened.
This is scary.
We are at velo pitching to see what 90 miles an hour plus looks like. So Ian and James and then Daryl and I are gonna take a few swings at this guy. And then the machine too.
Who's the best batter in the team?
We don't know.
Josh, do you think Josh?
That's the
Picked a bat up before.
I have picked up a bat before.
I've had more bats broken over my body than I have used.
That counts as experience. You want to stand in front of that, Josh?
Fast. It's accurate though.
How's that, Ian?
It's a little scary. Touch my noggin. It's for safety.
Alright, you good?
Nope. At this point, I don't think it really matters, so I'm just swinging and hoping. Scared? Scared? Still scared.
Oh, 91.5 on the last one.
Home run! Alright, let's put that. It was definitely scary to start, but after a few more, it got a little bit more comfortable. Nicked one, but yeah, no, it's hard.
I'm hoping to hit it. I don't think I'm going to hit it. It's also quite scary.
I'm on!
Oh,
All right, I got you. I got you.
woohoo!
Oh my goodness!
How's that, Josh? Yeah, it
Really
looked like
difficult because he's a really good pitcher.
the moment everyone was waiting for.
As long as I don't cross this line, I'll be fine, right?
Hopefully.
How's it feeling so far?
It's not too bad. Oh! Woo!
You good, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Want to see it in slow motion to distract you? Right on the hand. Do you want to see it in slow mo?
No, not yet. So we came here to see and feel what 90-mile-per-hour fastball feels like, and I can tell you, it hurts. There's a small chance, like my metacarpal bone may be broken, so I'm gonna go to the hospital.
We're going on a trip.
Going on a trip. All right, we should probably go.
Just tell them you got hit by a fastball. They'll say kind of probably check you for x-ray and kind of fracture. So if you have any questions, send me an email or something. I'll give them a card.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
See you guys. I hit a ball. I hit a 90.
Yeah.
With my hand. So I'm gonna drive myself to the hospital. That's how we do here in Canada. Even though we have free ambulances, this isn't really serious. As you see. Oh boy. Oh god. Oh yeah, it's swelling. Look, I finally get to press the emergency button. Nav. Emergency hospitals.
Please proceed to the highlighted route, then the route guidance will start.
At least he got it in slow-mo. Not that I want to see it right now, but I'm glad we have it. For the content! Oh, there's a Taco Bell there now. I should have gotten second. It's a chain of events.
Yeah.
I could have been Josh. Thought I was going to hit that last one, too.
Yeah.
And I guess I did. Here it goes. Gimme! Woohoo! It's cold. There it is, look, there's the hospital.
Oh, we made it.
This hospital, by the way, I might have been born here. Full circle. Being born, breaking your hand. But like literally, it's built in the middle of the road.
It is.
Reserved for the catheter lab. I don't want a catheter.
We made it.
We did it. It's cold.
It is.
Alright. See ya.
See ya. Take care. Hope your hand is good.
So yeah, it's broken. Very broken. It was pretty well shattered by that baseball, and it was off by about 30 degrees. Now you need surgery for anything over a 15-degree break. Luckily, you guys might remember Just Dustin, another YouTuber that I collabed with a few years ago. Dustin actually grew up with another YouTuber you might know. His name's Wolfie. And Wolfie's dad is actually an orthopedic surgeon and a fellow YouTuber. So I reached out to Dr. Rayner on Instagram and showed him my x-ray, and he offered to help me out. So I drove up to Ottawa to have my surgery. The whole experience was pretty surreal. From putting on a hospital gown, being given an IV drip, being rolled around on a gurney, to finally walking myself into the operating room, seeing loads of tools and surgical equipment and pieces of metal like Meccano for humans. I climbed up onto the operating table, and soon after being given the anesthetic, it was over before it began. One of the nurses snapped a photo for me mid-surgery. Viewer discretion is advised. Double tap the right side of the screen to skip this part.
That's disgusting.
Now the funny thing is, having driven 6 hours away to get this surgery, I didn't realize I needed someone to discharge me from the hospital and take me back to my hotel. Luckily, like the rock star Dr. Rayner is, he offered me a ride. And a few weeks later, I even had the chance to interview him about my surgery. I might be an engineer and I know how to fix most things, but bones and organic material is completely beyond me. And even though you're using like metal plates and screws, I don't fully understand how you even attach that to bones. So could you maybe like give a bit of a summary of how you did the surgery and how you stuck me back together?
For sure, for sure. I often say to people that I'm basically a glorified carpenter. And so I use the same tools. I use saws, chisels, hammers, you name it, screwdrivers. And I use the same technique. So really, everything that I did, you are familiar with already. And I've just applied what you already know to an organic substance. With any surgery, first we have to have exposure. So I made an incision to cut down. We make sure that we take care to avoid injury to any blood vessels or nerves. Fortunately, the fifth metacarpal is very subcutaneous, so it's really, there's not that much tissue in between the skin and the bone. And then I want to make sure that I can see the fracture. So.
Yeah, I think that was actually one of my biggest questions, because there's obviously a lot of flesh around that.
Yes.
And from the original x-rays that I got of my hand, the bone was broken and almost shattered.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, if it was a clean break, sure, you can just put it back and bolt it together. There's actually a screw going through the shattered area. So actually, I don't know if this helps with the explanation, but I brought you a hand.
Look at that. So I'm going to use retractors to hold open the skin so that the skin stays out of the way, so it doesn't get in our operative field. And then I want to expose both ends of the bone. And this is because even though the fracture might be here, your fracture was fairly distal, close to the knuckle, I know that I'm going to have to put a plate on that spans the fracture, and I need to have a certain number of points of fixation on either side. The bone has a covering over it, which is called the periosteum. It's like a saran wrap around the bone. Okay. And so the periosteum helps the bone to heal. So we want to elevate that saran wrap away from the bone and then close that periosteum after we fixed it, right? And then I'm going to try to First, perform a reduction, which is the official term for what we call when we try to put the fracture back into place. If it's a clean break, or what people call a clean break, a transverse fracture that goes right through, usually that's pretty easy. But if there's a lot of comminution or fragmentation, which there was in your case, then it kind of becomes a little bit more difficult. If it's comminuted and I can't, I kind of have to guess. And what I do for that is I look using fluoro. So fluoro is the portable x-ray, and I will look at the cascade of the knuckles, judge what the length should be. I look at how you close your hand. I go, okay, this is how long it should be. I'm going to put a plate across, and then I'm going to provisionally fix it, which just means I'm going to put K-wires, something to hold it in place temporarily. Okay. I'm going to check that on x-ray. Do I like the length? Do I like how it bends? Have I got the rotation correct? And once I've happy with all of those checks, then I'm going to start putting screws in. Because yours was comminuted and there was kind of basically a segment that was shattered and like you can't really put anything into it. Yeah. What I did first is I used a special plate which was basically shaped like a clover leaf. So it gave me more points of fixation here in the knuckle. And I fixated that first. Then once I was happy with that, I came back down to the proximal end, put some screws in here. As you mentioned, there's a screw that goes through the fracture site. We generally don't put screws through the fracture, but because there was so much comminution, I wanted to try to get something to hold that stuff in place. But it only has unicortical fixation. So what that means is that normally when we put a screw in, we want fixation on both sides of the bone. So that's what's called bicortical fixation. Sometimes because there's comminution, I'm just it's like I'm throwing the ball somewhere and hoping it sticks, right? And I got a bite on the far cortex, and that just kind of sucks that piece into the jumble there. I know that eventually it's going to heal. We're going to get some callus, and it's not going to be exactly the way your bone was initially. It's going to still be an intact metacarpal.
You mentioned the screw going into the shattered area.
Yep.
Was it the wires you talked about that held that shattered area together to even allow you to drill in and put a screw there? Because I'm just imagining like it's just kind of floating in flesh. How are you supposed to hold that?
So it's a combination of things. So the wires, yes. So the K wire, they're called K wires. So those temporary fixation wires, which we then remove, so those hold it. And so then I put some retractors. And in this particular case, the retractors are called Homans. So they're curved and they go around behind. So basically, I
cup the bone.
Cup the bone.
And now
they're holding it. Give me something to push against, right? And then I'm drilling towards them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love what I do, and I love fixing stuff like that. It's fun. Like I'm very mechanical. I like to work with my hands and I like tools. It's very cool to do that. Sometimes it's a little bit disconcerting, and not gonna lie, in your particular case, when I looked at the x-rays at first, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fine. And then I opened it up and I was like, yeah, this is really smashed here. And so there was a couple of sphincter puckering moments in there. It's fun to be able to take something that's smashed like that, and then put it back, and then at the end you take your x-ray and it's like, oh yeah, good, looks good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think in another life I probably would have enjoyed being a surgeon, just because like you said, I love working with tools, and I think there's probably nothing more satisfying than helping fix someone. And it's awesome. So
for sure,
thank you very much for fixing my hand, and can't wait to be able to do titanium karate chops in the near future.
Not a problem, man. It's a pleasure.
So if you guys want to learn more about surgery and general health and everything else, Dr. Chris Rayner has an awesome YouTube channel. You can check it out. The link's in the description below. You just did an awesome video on what would happen if Luke Skywalker lost his hand in 2021.
Yep. Thanks for helping me out, man.
And how could we fix that in today's technology? And I think that was a really cool explanation and a really cool twist on bringing medical science into almost what I do, which is like make it real and trying to take some of these fictional ideas and it's just like, is that possible? And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview as much as I did. Not everyone gets the chance to actually interview their surgeon and learn how they actually completed the surgery. And I thought that was really cool, which is why I want to share it with you guys. And if you guys like Dr. Chris Rayner's explanation about how he fixed me, you should really check out his YouTube channel because he has tons of awesome videos covering everything from knee replacements to hip replacements to chiropractic videos. You name it, he's got it. And somehow, he produces a video a week while working full-time as a surgeon. This guy is basically Superman. Now, the next day, I got my cast removed and my stitches removed. And boy, did that feel good. Luckily, Dr. Chris Rayner put me in a splint instead of another cast, which means I'll be able to start rehab a bit sooner. But I still can't really use this hand for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So, I think it's a good time for me to take a break.